you've got a pretty unique practice. You started cold, you've done things differently from, the beginning, and you're still doing things differently today. So why don't you talk a little bit about some of the things that you did early on that kind of made your practice unique from the start?
Yeah, so opening cold, man, I didn't know what I was getting into, but it was a great heck of a ride. I don't know if I'd do it again, but back when I opened cold, I had an experience with the dentist's office. And in New York, everyone's usually about 15 minutes late, depending on the trains or not. But I got out of the train, and I hate being late, so I ran to the dentist's office. And when I got there, this was in the summer, so it was hot and sweaty, and I got there, and all I was like is, where's the water cooler? I just need a drink of water, right? This waiting room didn't have anything. There was nothing in there. So I asked the lady at the front desk who was behind a pane of glass, can I get a damn glass of water, please? I'm dying. I see those little cups back there that you have people, rinse and spit with.
Yeah.
And she's like, sorry, we don't have anything for the patients, but there's a bodega on the corner. And I was just so broke at that point. So I knew right from the start that I wanted to focus on hospitality. So when you come to my office, you're greeted. We don't have a phone in my office, so no one's ever going to give you the finger when you walk in. So there's no phone in my office. It's a pleasant experience, no ringing phone, no one on the phone, no one telling you to wait. We ask you what we mentioned. We have a selection of beverages, including beer.
Okay, that's
and
interesting.
We offer that to the patients, and we really focused on the hospitality aspect of it because we want when you get there, it needs to be a pleasant experience. It has to be an experience that you look forward to going back to, not something you dread. If you go to a doctor's office and you hate going there, you're going to probably avoid going there. So we want somebody to get their annual reminder and say, I can't wait to go back to Park Slope Eye.
Yeah. Have you ever had to cut any patients off for drinking a few too many beers, or they usually keep it under control in there?
So, funny story is, it was about, 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, and we also have sparkling water and hard seltzer too. Everybody's on the White Claw kick, right?
Yeah.
So there was I think he was about 8 years old. He popped open a White Claw, and the mom's like, whoa, it's not for you, that's for mom.
Yeah.
She proceeded to drink it.
Yeah.
But no, we do keep an eye on it, but no, we've never had to cut anybody off.
No issues, yeah. So you mentioned too that you're phoneless in your practice. That is something that's very unique. I don't know that I know any other practices that are phoneless. So how did you implement that? I mean, what are some of the challenges with that? What are some of the benefits? I mean, like you said, it's kind of nice. You go into the office, no one's on the phone, no one says, hold on a minute. But what are some of the challenges around that? And do you find that patients kind of don't, do any patients not like that there are no phones?
So we studied phone use for 3 months. And it came down to why are people calling us and can we find a better way than handling it on the phone? So main 3 reasons people call my office are the same 3 reasons they call your office. I need to make an appointment, okay? How do we overcome that? We got a real-time online scheduler that integrated with our EHR, right? So now people can make their own appointments any time of the day, and it doesn't take a staff member to do that, and is a better solution, and people are comfortable with the technology. Second is they were asking questions about, do you take this insurance? What are your hours? So all we did is we made sure that our online presence answered all those questions. So we had an FAQ, we made sure that wherever we were listed had accurate and up-to-date information. And then the third thing people were calling for is my glasses ready. So notifications, we went old school. My opticians now hand out a business card with an ETA, and they say, don't bother us until this date comes, and if it does, then email us. So we also set expectations that we work with email versus phone use in our office. We do take a hit every once in a while. We get 1-star reviews about the phone use, but honestly, the people that aren't a good match, we're not going to change, right? Yeah. We love the fact that we are online and have solutions outside of the phone. We're not going to change for those few people.
Yeah, that's very interesting too, because I mean, what is your practice demographic like? I mean, do you have any older patients in your practice? Because I know, maybe that might be a little bit of a complication because some older patients, they might not use email. I mean, but maybe your demographic is more specific to the, the younger patient, the millennial patient, and maybe that works well.
So we opened up cold in 2008, and we were targeting young professionals. Young professionals a decade ago have now changed into young parents. So we see a bi-segmentation in our population between pediatrics and probably 40-ish range now. So we don't have a geriatric population by any means, and that may play into it. But we do appreciate the patients that we have because now we have parents and kids. And I think the future of optometry and how our practice is evolving is leading into more myopia management. And I think that's another way that we're standing out in our community, is because we have embraced myopia management big time.
Yeah. Why don't you talk a little bit more about that? I mean, that's definitely a way to kind of differentiate your practice, right? You know, offer different specialties, and myopia management is definitely a hot topic right now. I mean, other than that, are there other things that you're doing to kind of differentiate your practice? I know that you're typically on the cutting edge of technology. I know that maybe you've experimented with different types of solutions, you know, cameras and anterior segment cameras and kind of that whole, and then there's a whole world of kind of telehealth and telemedicine. I mean, have you done anything like that? Have you experimented with anything like that?
I think that the modern optometric office needs to embrace disease management, and you can't be managing glaucoma without a visual field unit, without an OCT, without a fundus camera. So we implemented those things several years ago. New York City and a lot of places in the country, they were more retail, optical modalities, and I don't think that's going to survive in this climate. I think we need to start embracing new technologies as they come out. Telehealth, when done right, I think has a bright future. I think some of the pseudo-quasi technologies out there, like some of the things that 1-800-CONTACTS offers for a contact lens exam, are not, and I think they're very misleading to patients and disruptive to the patient-doctor relationship in a harmful way. But I think there's opportunities out there as they come out and improve for us to embrace and continue to the future with telehealth, for sure.
You talked a lot about creating a very a great experience for your patients, of course, but you also want to create a happy environment for your staff.
Yeah.
So how do you go about creating that, you know, the best environment for your staff and ensuring that your staff is happy and kind of performing that, you know, that will not only help the patients, but help your practice?
We have a great staff. I think one of the keys to them being there, you know, my head optician's been with me since almost day one, is that I learned not to micromanage as much. I mean, I still kind of get in there a little bit, but I think that giving people the ownership of the position and allowing them to have authority to kind of handle situations as they come up is something that people really appreciate, or at least the staff that I have appreciates. So giving them the ability to be their own managers. I don't have an office manager. I believe in an office that has probably less than a dozen staff, I don't think that an office manager is needed, and I actually think that it can be something that's negative. So having each staff member take control of their own positions and be responsible for those positions has allowed them to really enjoy the environment that they're in.
How have you crafted, because you do a lot of stuff outside of seeing patients. I mean, you're very involved in the optometric community, professionally, doing different things within industry. How have you crafted your practice to kind of allow yourself to do those things, but still be present in the practice itself that you started?
Yeah, so having a great staff, have an associate doc who does a fantastic job, and we also crafted hours that allow me to travel. Right, so when we first opened, this sounds crazy, but no BS, we were open 8 to 8, 7 days a week. So I was in the office 8 to 8, 7 days a week, wow. And we learned when people were gonna be there. So quickly, obviously, 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, nobody's showing up. That lasted probably about a week before I eliminated that position. But over about a 3 to 6 month period, we really crafted our hours for the patient population in the neighborhood. We settled on Mondays, 12 to 8, Tuesdays, 8 to 4, Wednesdays and Thursdays, 12 to 8, and then Fridays, 8 to 4. And we're open Saturdays, 10 to 6, and sometimes Sundays, 10 to 6. So we have hours that allow me to leave work at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday, take care of any consulting or advisory stuff I have to do on a Wednesday, and be back in the office seeing patients by noon on a Thursday. Yeah. So flexible in my hours and have hours that allow me to travel. Being in New York City, I got access to 3 airports too, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, that definitely helps. So what would your final words of wisdom be for those that are considering opening cold, whether they're new graduates or maybe they're somewhere in their career where they're thinking, yeah, you know what, I want to open cold, I want to start my own practice, or maybe for practices that just have been around for a while, they want to grow, they just need to level up. What would your top tips be for ways to differentiate themselves to kind of take them to that next level, maybe in some other types of ways?
Find somebody you look up to and model yourself after them, and then add your own little flavor to it. And I think that's going to be a key to success. Also, networking. I mean, it's often talked about, but appropriate networking with the right people, making sure you're meeting people when you come to these conferences, and guys like you lead the way.
Well, we'll definitely do this again sometime. And as always, thanks for your time.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.